Mlxg is going to have to get a good champion as the end result of this. And we'll see what they actually focus though.
Well, the two teams have swapped sides here, so OMG on the blue side, RNG on the red side here, and it's very surprising to see a blue side ban onto Ryze coming up from OMG. Normally, red side teams would be the ones to take it away, so it can't be first picked by the blue side, but they're going to take away Bard and Nidalee as well, as Thresh and Kindred have been banned out by RNG and waiting for their final ban.
Yeah, so the Thresh ban continues. RNG also banning Maokai last time around, and will stay true to form, which leaves open the potential of a Rek'Sai counter. Swain is also going to be there, as is Lucian. And there you go.
There is a Rek'Sai pickup coming in for OMG. Don't want to give that one over towards juejue. Mlxg could still possibly pick up the Graves, which is the most common matchup we see in the jungle right now. Graves going up against Rek'Sai, and like you mentioned, Swain still up and available to be taken.
Swain and Lucian as well, so if Uzi really wants to go in, that champion's going to be an option to him. Based off their last performance, he doesn't need to early pick it though, because Caitlyn's always there.
They are going to lock in Swain and Karma as their next two pickups here, so opting to pick up the support and top laner first.
Yeah, which again makes a lot of sense, given how the Karma was a big factor in the laning phase success, the 2v2. You would imagine that Uzi will just go back towards the Caitlyn as an assumption if S1mLz were to go towards his AD carry now.
Well, let's see what RNG pick up in response to the next two picks coming out from OMG. Still lots of picks left up and available. They only have their junglers shown so far. We'll have to see what they pick up next.
I'm a big fan of this as an option as well. Fizz, one of the flexible characters between mid lane and top lane. Definitely lock that one away and then not reveal your hand. It does well into Swain also if you're thinking about healing reduction. Perhaps not too early in the game, but I'll always be happy.
And it's actually going to get locked in here, so we should see a Fizz into the mid or top lane. For now, xiyang still holding on to Flash and Teleport. So it makes me believe Icon might be the one playing that coming into this game, but they also picked up Lucian, the very strong AD carry, and Gragas, Caitlyn will be the lock-in coming in for RNG.
RNG showing OMG how it's done apparently with this draft phase so far as whoa, that was quick.
Soraka is going to get locked in for the bottom lane for OMG. Going to be played by 5 here, known as the playmaking support, but this time taking a bit more relaxed of a support pickup. And it is going to be Fizz up on the top lane. We do see the summoner spells being changed there by xiyang, so Ignite and Teleport taken as well as the Azir pick coming in for Icon in the mid lane.
Yeah, so Icon goes towards the Azir. We've seen a lot of preference towards Victor at the moment in the middle lane, so we'll see what xiaohu goes towards, and if it's actually him, as there we go. It's going to be Swain mid.
Yeah, they're going to lock in Trundle, so that goes into the top lane for Looper here up against the Fizz, and like you mentioned, Swain will be played in the mid lane by xiaohu.
That's the beauty of RNG's draft on the red side, is because whilst OMG had a flex there, they still had to show their entire lanes first. RNG had a Swain that could go top, could go mid, and xiaohu, having just played the Vladimir, you would imagine understands how Swain works because they're a little bit similar in that respect. Might have a slight edge in this laning phase, but Azir's always going to be strong.
We'll have to see how what performance xiaohu can put on this Swain. As you know, something that really stands out for me, the top lane matchup. It's going to be a Fizz taking on a Trundle here. Very interesting to see this matchup coming into place with the likes of Echo and likes of more top lane crazy picks being left up and available.
Well, Looper's just a Trundle god, and we've seen this matchup a couple of times actually now start to break out. There is a capability that the Trundle gets an early kill onto the Fizz, even though xiang has an Ignite in his lane, simply because of the sustain that Looper will get from his passive off the minions. Who knows what way that could go, but it's very, very difficult to win.
Well, let's see how things pan out as we head into game number 2 between RNG and OMG.
We come and we go. All of us.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the English broadcast of the Chinese LPL as we take off onto game number 2 between RNG and OMG. All 10 players have loaded onto the Rift and we're ready for their next match.
All of us. Ready for the next match. As we're getting a nice tour of Summoner's Rift. Thank you a lot for that one, spectators. Second game of this series. Remember, RNG being 1-0 up. It's quite important for OMG to kick this off on the right foot. And it's most important that Icon stamps his foot down as a sign of authority, as a premier mid laner, and also being the sub for Cool because he has a lot to prove.
RNG did have a very disappointing start to the split and disappointing start to this series too. RNG continuing their dominance so far. As we take a look at the Keystone Masteries picked up by these teams, nothing too surprising standing out here. Strength of the Ages on the Swain in the mid lane, and top lane further battle being picked up by Fizz.
Yeah, I think xiaohu's just worked out the Strength of the Ages mid laners are kind of a big deal. Very tanky, super hard to kill. And so not a big surprise, as naturally the fervor of battle Fizz can stack that insanely quickly and does a lot of damage. Could actually find him a slight edge in the matchup against Looper. We'll see how that one naturally progresses, as we're not actually going to see it.
Instead, RNG looking to try and get a lane swap going immediately. xiyang is going to be helping out juejue inside of his jungle, starting on the Wolf Camp. 5 is going to play Pest as he moves towards the jungle on the side of RNG to stop them from taking up camps with ease. Body Slam actually coming out here. 5, he's being caught out. They're trying to take down the support. The Soraka has to keep running away. He's going to throw a couple of bananas backwards, but Mlxg and Looper decide to back off.
Mlxg will flash onto him if he gets cute.
He might.
He would. He was ready. I don't know if you saw that. He wanted that. You don't mess with Mlxg in his own jungle.
Well, he's going to try to again as 5. He's here putting down the bananas one more time, trying to steal away this wolf if he possibly can. Should go in favor of the Gragas though. Does pick it up with the Gragas Spiral.
Yeah, just a bit of health gained, or taken rather, by the OMG support from RNG. It is still a Gragas, however, so he's going to be pretty happy. And all things are going to settle down once more, but it is that lane swap. Icon's on a magical journey away from minions.
Mlxg and Looper here actually opting to go for the blue buff first, inside of OMG's jungle instead of taking away the red buff.
Yeah, kind of the quick route towards the top lane. So they might go through Grump, they might not. Looper's already looking to join them, however. So a hard, quick push now from RNG to match what OMG are absolutely doing. And is making sure that it's ready to go as soon as possible. That's a big stack of minions, and a Soraka doesn't do too much work towards a turret. It's mostly that Lucian spell weave.
RNG on the other hand, they do have a nice stack as well, but not as huge. So one we see coming in from OMG, we'll still be able to get some decent damage down towards these turrets.
Yeah, they're banking on that next wave hitting it, so they will still take them at reasonably similar times. We'll just see how much of an advantage one team gets over the other as we progress further into the turret trading.
xiyang's actually being left down here in this bottom lane.
Just laying down.
Taking a little nap as the turret takes some damage from his minions. They're going to be able to take down the turrets at the same time here, and already OMG looking to try and secure an objective for themselves with this early Crowd Dragon.
One of the easier things to do given that there is a Soraka available, so they're not going to die to this, whilst it might have done a bit of damage earlier. And there we go, everything starts to form itself nicely, and if we're looking at average dragon time between these series, it's now been halved a lot. 15 minutes in the first game, 4 minutes in the second.
And once again, we're going to have an Ocean Dragon spawning as the second dragon of the matchup after the Cloud Dragon does fall for OMG. You can only take a look at this mid lane now. Icon, he's doing fairly well, controlling the mid lane creeps quite nicely, but you still see xiaohu keeping up as well in terms of farm.
Yeah, very good mid laner Icon. I've praised him far too many times in the LPL, but he's always a pleasure to watch. Not that he's going to have a great time against xiaohu, who is a strong mid laner to contend with. Azir has a slight range advantage as long as the never move doesn't hit though. And so you'd imagine that as far as early laning is concerned, the Azir will be good.
And you can already see he's creeping towards a 10 CS advantage for himself. Xiaohu was only able to keep even for so long there. As we are seeing the iteration of this lane swap coming through, and as Uzi and Mata now head towards the bottom lane, we will see S1mLz head towards the top lane working on the next outer turrets.
The important thing to note is that a lot of recalls have been stopped by 5 on that Soraka, actually walking at Looper a lot. He may have to teleport towards his bottom lane to assist in the turret being taken now. If he doesn't, then it's going to be quite slow, which means that OMG might actually get a slight edge on this one.
Already found a slight edge earlier by taking out the Dragon after the lane swap. I'll have to see if they can get anything else during this push coming in.
Yeah,
as
he's
Uzi
just walking.
and Mata going to get some damage down to Uzi's turrets. Mlxg actually waiting around the Raptor camp here.
So something we saw a lot in the EU LCS the past couple of days is the top laner teleporting to actually assist the turret take and gain some tempo back, whereas the opposite member's top laner would usually walk there. That's where you get like a 5 to 10 second edge in the speed that you do it. However, they don't opt towards this. They're now just going to have Mlxg down here instead. And this is where you'll see OMG probably forge themselves a slight speed boost in this swap, maybe even look towards the second. Thankfully Mlxg can smite Krugs.
Now the RNG do have 4 members down in that bottom lane looking to push down the outer turret too. xiyang once again being left with all the gold for himself up in the top lane as he'll be the sole member to take down this turret. But a gank squad's coming in here. Silence Field comes out from the Soraka trying to get a gank on towards xiaohu, just walks out of it.
Icon gets out-traded by minions during this situation, however.
And we see Mlxg and Mata actually roaming through the river as well, looking to try and find some members of OMG inside their own jungle. But not going to be able to do that.
And they're actually 4-man strong walking towards the top lane. So Fizz is overstaying his welcome, but juejue is already here. This is unusual.
He's not going to be able to get the knock-up just yet. He's still waiting for it. xiaohu will get stunned inside of the Silence Field. Flash actually has to come out from the Rek'Sai, respecting the body slam coming out from Gragas.
Yeah, that was a sign of massive respect. Mlxg doesn't use the flash of his own and simply baits the summoner spell out of the Rek'Sai. So a little bit of mind games paying off for RNG and a lot of damage coming down on that Rek'Sai. He'll still be happy and healthy. But once again, we talked about slight edges. It's definitely evidenced through the CS difference in the jungle and mid lane.
But for now, gold is completely even between these two teams. 11,000 gold each. The only discrepancy between the side is the single dragon that's over in favor of OMG right now. A little bit of extra movement speed outside of combat.
And this is still a big win for OMG if you wanted to draw parallels to the last game. They're actually a little bit in trouble.
Can actually get locked down here by the Rek'Sai, forced to flash over the wall. Tries to get that tether down onto the Rek'Sai, but is able to get out of there.
Just putting a bit of damage down onto him, making some gold for himself, Mana. Of course, the summoner spell burned is a unfortunate thing to say the least. Looper's also about to overextend, but with knowledge of where the Rek'Sai is, can afford to, somewhat. You have to remember, level 6 Rek'Sai can use that tunnel system to kind of throw himself out now into the top lane once Fizz gets levels. And until such a stage, though, Looper will start showing respect.
Still, like you mentioned, Rusty, a very different game than what we saw in Game 1. OMG don't have the natural dominance that we saw them dish out in Game number 1. Instead, now farming it out, being very content with going even with OMG in the meantime.
And this is good from RNG as well, crashing it onto the turret, making sure that xiyang can't get any freezes. Even xiaohu's here, just kind of pestering now, making sure that any advantages aren't secured. And whilst they may be maintained, they can't actually grow. It's essentially damage control, but it's a good kind of it.
We just took a look at the model lane there. We can already see S1mLz Lucian being very aggressive with this Caitlyn Soraka. A very oppressive lane, and now xiaohu with his ultimate is able to farm out these minions a lot better. A lot easier as well. Catching up slightly against Icon.
And again, look at these small differences as well. Uzi and Mata trying to contest the blue buff. Stop it from being taken. Oh, wow, Icon.
He's going in, tries to knock back Mata, is able to do that. First blood goes on over towards Rek'Sai, but here comes xiaohu looking to try and stand down two. Does get two. 5 is there, has to flash away. xiaohu picks up the first kill onto Rek'Sai. Mlxg's just over the walls. Looper now coming for this fight. Icon's trying to run away, gets separated by the ultimate coming in from Mlxg. Body slam's not going to connect, but it's already 3 members down on the side of OMG, and disaster strikes as S1mLz tries to run away, but you can never move, my friend, as 3 kills go over to the Swain.
And 3-0-1 is this Swain, even getting a blue buff is the end result. RNG, you put them in a team fight, you give them an opportunity, and they will take away more than you ever could have dreamed of. And once again, this is proactivity. Mata just gets destroyed, but look at Icon's mana bar as well. A lot of emphasis used on taking him down. 5 would have loved to have that silence field available to him. Mlxg also being quite resilient, saving the ultimate for as long as necessary, making sure that Icon was the one to fall. And this is the xiaohu show, because once he gets that blue buff, look at the mana regeneration. He should not have that much mana. The buff actually saving him there. Very impressive from RNG.
Bird is the word for the side of RNG right now, as from what was a very silent early game is now woken up in favor of RNG. They're 1,000 gold ahead. Take a look at the damage dealt during that fight. Xiaohu and Uzi dealing most of the damage for his team with Mlxg just behind them.
Yeah, and Fizz not really having a factor in that at all. Completely pushed away on the wrong side of the battle. Once it started working around terrain, there was no way for the Fizz to get involved unless he just wanted to join his team in death. And very well done once again from RNG. Shot calling. No surprises. Marta pretty good at it. Shocking, I know.
But for now, the second dragon of the game has spawned. OMG were able to take a very early dragon at 4 minutes into the match. So the Ocean Dragon is up and available if RNG want to try and force another fight
They
here.
want bottom. And Mlxg doesn't have his flash, however, so being a Gragas and trying to get a body slam engage is tough. As top laners, I think xiyang's looking for a teleport. No, he's baiting. There you go.
Looking for a fight here as Lupa actually going to get the ultimate. Chum the Waters comes down on towards that Trundle. But juejue is there. He's able to help xiyang pick up that kill, which immediately signals RNG to go for the gank down.
Yeah, there's a lot of pings. They definitely want it.
They're pinging this one left, right, and center. Definitely want to get this gank. The Silence Field is going to be used there as S1mLz gets slowed down. He's going to get ultimate by the Caitlyn, but xiaohu wants that all for himself.
Nice ult.
Knocks them backwards. Their 5 has nowhere to go. They're going to go give this one over towards Uzi. Just waiting for his final ticks for auto attacks. And xiaohu actually teleporting towards the mid lane.
Yeah, so they hold the fort. They even push them away and aggressively, xiaohu. It should be the Drake. They get the kills with it. And RNG, off the back of their top laner being killed by the Rek'Sai, that can move around the map just as efficiently as he would like, still get big advantages.
And they've been reacting to everything that OMG has thrown at them quite nicely so far. Now Lupa not afraid to go down to the top lane because he knows his team's going to back him up, and they get a dragon for themselves. The next dragon to spawn will be the Mountain Dragon. So RNG, pretty decisive start so far. For what was a very...
doesn't really want to be here.
Yeah, I doubt he does, but Soraka
Okay.
is going to throw a couple of bananas out, get a few gold for himself, but not going to be able to take down this Gragas.
And the Crescent Moons aren't going to be enough to kill anybody, as it is a Soraka after all. But once again, OMG, they still stand strong. They kind of draw their line in the sand at their half of the map, and whilst they're dying a lot on the enemy half, they don't want them inside their own. Everything starts to even out in the way of Drakes, neutrals, and whatnot, but RNG always just seeming like the better team in the day. And absolutely in this second game showing that off.
You can see xiaohu already. He's 4-0-2, so he was slightly behind Icon in terms of CS at the start of this match. He still is actually about 10 CS behind the Swain, but with those kills being picked up in his favor, he's got his Rod of Ages stacking already this early. Uzi might be caught out a little bit here though. Tries to put some happy feet down, but that's just so many ultimates used to take down the Caitlyn.
Yeah, Soraka as well putting a silence field. There was no escape for Uzi. They made sure he died. And that was a lot used, though, as you mentioned. So whilst they get a single kill, they still can't breach the walls of the RNG base. Everything kind of just chills out again. That's just poor timing. That's the rule of thumb here. OMG, they're getting nice picks. They're trying to keep their up and kills their best they can. At the end of the day, when RNG gets something, they get more than just the kill.
You actually take a look at what these two teams have. Everything's even, 2 turrets each, a dragon each as well. Except for the Goldie, which is slightly in RNG's favor at the moment. That tempo definitely looks like it's in their favor right now. We can have a look at the items as well. We can see Fizz picking up some tank items as RNG looking to try and take down this Rift Herald. You see Rod of Ages being picked up by Swain, like we mentioned earlier. Morel Nomicon is the first pickup coming in from the Azir to stop the healing coming up from that Swain. Yoma's Ghost Blade, Black Cleaver is the build going to come out from S1mLz one more time. As Uzi already has his Runan's Hurricane. Didn't go for a BF sword this time. Instead, just the pickaxe was this pickup.
Yeah, he's been having a rough time with the farm as well. Like, he's managed to find himself 10 ahead. And not too bad on the clock, but wanted to accelerate that Runan's Hurricane. Didn't go for the BF sword option due to the recall timings. Where he got a pickaxe to push faster. It's kind of an interesting down point for a Caitlyn because he's got the dagger and brown leather bags for his boots. He has to upgrade those first. So before he gets a BF sword, he's going to have to spend a large amount of money. Thankfully, he'll have a cull to help out. It's just so, it's awkward, and he is lucky that xiaohu is 4-0, because it could have been a lot worse.
Well, let's see if that costs Uzi in any way. The next few fights that will take place between these two teams. For now, though, we're going to see juejue try to take away his own red buff, but Mlxg is here as well. He wants this one for himself. He's going to contest it and actually take it away. One swift motion.
1300 damage with a single combo from Mlxg. Of course, he didn't ult for it. That would add more to the combo. Just decided to stand still and stop the tremor sensors. RNG still in control though, and that is evidenced through that invade that we just saw from Mlxg. He knows that he can do these things.
Once again, RNG very content with taking this game as late as they want. They've shown they're comfortable late game. They're comfortable being even as well at this stage in the game. And, you know, things were looking good for OMG. They started off with that lane swap, you know, going relatively even against OMG, finding small advantages here and there, but things are slowly just falling apart one more time.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And the question is, whilst it's falling apart, it's not too big of a separation in gold. When does it actually hit a breaking point? Because at this stage in the game, OMG can absolutely come back.
Well, RNG now looking to try and get a pick on towards juejue. Mato was rotating around the river here after an aggressive gank was being positioned towards Looper up in the top lane.
In mid lane right now, they're looking for Icon. See if they get him. Unlikely.
They're going to try for it. Tether does go down. Here is the Swain, so we're going to put down another move shortly, I believe.
Oh God, that
Icon
damage.
is going to try and run away. Lots of damage being put down towards that Swain. As Five's going to have to heal him up to full health.
Yeah, 402 Swain just comes out full health after diving a turret for 3 seconds because the usual, you know, how it is with Swain, huh?
Usual Swain.
And one of the other things that I was going to mention is not only Icon's item build, but his commitment to the item build. Going for Berserker Greaves, I believe. This isn't the latest patch where they buffed its attack speed.
Nope.
But he'll probably be running attack speed runes. Couple those attack speed runes. The fact that he's got 20% CDR from his Morellos and Berserker Greaves to complement that. He'll still be attacking reasonably fast, but he'll be doing more damage sooner. But mostly soldier play from here on.
Interesting coming up from Icon here. We don't see Berserker Greaves very frequently on
Maybe
Azir.
he's just practicing on the main patch, and this is what he's decided the best build is, and knows no better.
Well, let's see if that's going to affect him as we move later into this game. Definitely an interesting item pickup. So far, Uzi, though, he's picked up that BF sword for himself, so working towards the Infinity Edge next. Still waiting on the Black Cleaver coming out from S1mLz. Opting not to go for the Infinity Edge crit build, or the Essence Reaver build that we see a lot of Lucians pick up over the Black Cleaver Luminous Ghostblade sometimes.
Yeah, still preferencing his build that works for him so well. Unfortunately for him, is 0-2 this time around, not 2-0 that we saw in game number 1. And so the shoe is on the other foot for OMG once more.
Dragon's going to be spawning in 15 seconds here, so we'll have to see if RNG and OMG decide to contest for that. And also 2 minutes until the Baron comes up for these two teams.
The weak point's still this Soraka and how fragile the health bar is. I don't think anybody's going to regard Soraka as a non-issue. In fact, they're making sure that 5 is the one that dies. That's going to potentially be the undoing of OMG's team composition. Careful is the name of the game for 5.
Well, that Dragon is up and online here. Lots of traps actually being put down early by Uzi to try and stop them from coming through the choke point. And Mlxg is going to work to try and take down this Dragon with the help of xiaohu and Uzi. They are spotted up by a ward, but it should be able to be secured by this Gragas. Nothing fancy coming out from OMG to try and stop that.
No fanciness whatsoever. I think waiting on item spikes is definitely what they're looking towards doing here on the side of OMG. They need that Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and with very inefficient items of the components of it, they're going to be waiting quite some time. Same thing with top lane, wants his next item. Jungle as well. They're just playing the waiting game, but RNG aren't waiting around. They've got those items already, and the pressure starts in this bottom lane from xiaohu.
And they picked up a quite natural 2,000 gold lead for themselves. They were 1,000 gold ahead after that team fight. Now, extending that gold lead even further. Chess through moving around the map, taking objectives and farming a little bit better.
Yeah, the major problem's just this mid lane because Uzi can't farm. So whilst across the board, RNG having a great time. Icon's still got kill threat. And of all people on the side of OMG to have kill threat, you don't want to give that to Icon.
xiaohu now actually getting jumped on, has to flash away from Chum the Waters.
Deep down, he didn't want to.
Of course.
He wanted to fight them.
Still gets away. As the pink Caitlyn is going to continue pushing this mid lane.
Good skin, by the way.
I like the green one. Looks like Luigi.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's female. So, like, Luigi's not very appropriate. You know? To each their own fish.
But now, though, we're going to continue seeing xiyang duke it out with xiaohu in this bottom lane. xiaohu did pack Summoner Spell Teleport, and so did Icon. Something we don't usually see Azir's bring Summoner's Rift, but the past few days of the LPL, we've seen a lot of Azir's pick that up.
No Vladimir this game either. One of the other interesting parts is we've started to see this big preference actually creep up. But still, working towards those items, getting closer and closer to a point where OMG might be able to fight back. Until such a time, though, they're just sitting around and watching their world crumble around them, hoping that RNG can't actually find a lead. If it stays like this, OMG are going to be happy.
For now, though, things are relatively quiet between these two teams. You can see Lupa up in the top lane still with the Glimmer of the Void buff, pushing out waves wherever he possibly can, trying to force the hand of this Fizz.
And both of these teams look towards Dragon the most as like this biggest point of contention that they have to fight for or look to fight for every single time. Really just shows almost a sign of concern. And like, yes, Dragon's a priority. Lupa currently on a never-ending battle.
Seems to be a priority for OMG to try and take down juejue. It takes a lot of damage in return as the teleport was being channeled there by xiaohu, who gets cancelled just to deter the top lane and jungle combo trying to take down Lupa.
Just making Lupa slightly perturbed. Everything will be as it were. xiaohu, though, the teleport being burned means that he can't really commit to anything on the top side of the map. The curious thing now is that Icon is dealing with Lupa. Like, that's okay, but xiaohu dealing with xiyang is a big win for RNG.
This turret's going to fall down though. RNG able to rotate down towards the bottom lane and take down the bottom lane inner turret and pick up a nice lead for themselves.
Yeah, Swain is such a happy person right now. Just do whatever he wants on Summoner's Rift and just walk around casually doing it. Just cawing wildly as he's a bird.
Speaking
That's
of
what birds
Swain,
do.
Speaking of Swain, he's got his on his hourglass being picked up here as well. That Rod of Ages that should be stacked quite nicely now. With the Negatron Cloak, we potentially see that being upgraded into the Abyssals or just held on to now for extra magic resistance.
Yeah, it depends if he wants the Void stuff earlier or not. He can check the item builds. I think it's fine with what he has at the moment as there's no Aegis available for 5, who's definitely been struggling on this Soraka to get things done. Even vision placement has been a hard task because of the amount of damage that everybody is doing to her. And RNG have finally bridged that gap as well themselves, because whilst OMG was sitting around, they've got item spikes. Caitlyn, however, is past that mid-game trough and has two big items and the component of the next. Uzi's going to be putting in some hurt now, as you can see.
He's going to be trying to push out this mid lane outer turret too.
He sees you.
He knows you're there, juejue. You can't hide.
Mlxg's actually just like dancing next to him. Decides to hit him and push him away. RNG putting their sights on this middle lane turret. And if they break this middle lane turret, even if they don't, if they can keep OMG here for a minute, work around the Drake, maybe lower some health bars, this will be a pretty good start for the Drake attempt.
Well, let's see what RNG can do, because they were looking to siege that mid lane turret. They put some traps down. The barrel's going to be able to steal away that wolf camp.
I think it's a smite, I believe.
RNG actually moving over towards the top lane in the turret now. Good rotations coming out from the representatives of MSI.
Yeah, xiaohu and Lupa in particular can actually work together if they have teleports. I know that before the Drake is up, xiaohu will have his. And very clever movements, because the vision they have is established a dragon of pinks. It's always going to be present. OMG haven't found their way in. We mentioned how difficult it is for Soraka to get anything done in that respect. And so advantage after advantage starting to be forged. But OMG, they're biting back.
They're looking to try and take down a turret of their own here, being the mid lane outer turret. But good defense comes out from RNG. They're able to stop that, and Dragon's going to spawn in 15 seconds, Rusty.
Yeah, absolutely a point where they want to fight if you're RNG. OMG, you have to question if they feel comfortable doing it. Nice CS advantage for the Azir, so he's quite strong. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. Icon's going to have to put in overtime. He always does, though, when RNG win.
Well, see if we can do that here over this next fight. Cloud Dragon has been started by RNG. They're looking to try and take this one down quick and swiftly. Mlxg's in the back of the pit, taking that one up. We'll be able to get the smite down. They do take down the Cloud Dragon, and a second Mountain Dragon will be the final Elemental Dragon that we will be seeing spawned on Summoner's Rift.
So many traps to block them off as well. OMG just looking for this turret, if anything. They won't even get that, just completely pushed away. And still the slow, steady style that RNG are implementing. A little bit different to their previous games, but just as effective every single time we've seen them. They're now demonstrating their ability to play slow, quick, for objectives, for kills. Definitely strong coverage as a team.
OMG looking to still try and bite back with this mid lane outer turret. The 3,000 gold behind. The ultimate comes out from Gragas trying to knock them backwards, but misses them.
Yeah.
A little bit of a misplay coming in from RNG.
Yeah, mechanical blunder from Mlxg on that Gragas. Didn't need to use his ultimate. The tower was probably going to fall, but he missed it anyway as Marta.
He's going to get caught out by xiaohu.
Trouble.
Chum the waters that come out. Playful Trickster comes as well. S1mLz gets the final taps with the ultimate. The culling gets put down. They're able to take him down.
Marta actually wasting his flash early. There was no Playful Trickster to dodge. And so they pick that one up, remembering that xiyang has Ignite on his Fizz, so there's going to be kill threat. Marta is a fragile support player. Now junglers are going to say hello. Going to Fetty Wap.
It looked like juejue wanted to try and contest for this red buff, but S1mLz and Uzi able to secure that. Take it for themselves.
Such a slow-paced game. I'm just not used to RNG doing this. Like, we're watching a team. RNG is 4-1. They're probably the best team in the LPL. We even said that before this started against OMG. They're on the bottom of the table in the same group, 0-4. And they're not able to end quickly. It's kind of a momentum boost game, you would think, for RNG. And that could go one of two ways. Either RNG just don't know how to close the game out as quickly anymore. They're just really struggling in this set. Or OMG have been underestimated, and they're being respected right now.
Well, who knows? We'll have to see what happens throughout the later courses of this game. For now, though, like you mentioned, a very slow-paced match. RNG have a slight lead for themselves. They definitely control the objectives of the map. They took the Rift Herald down. They have been taking 3 out of the 4 dragons so far, and probably will look for the 5th one as well.
You would think so.
And it does look like just waiting for Uzi to come online one more time. He's got 3 of those items.
Man's online.
Well, last time they had these 3 items, they didn't fight till they had 6. So, I don't know.
Well, they were also ahead by 5k gold at that point. This time around, it's only 2,000. And RNG's only defeat has been giving a chance to OMG.
S1mLz though now has been jumped on, has to flash away after the ultimate. He's used by Mlxg to knock him backwards. Now juejue takes a lot of damage in this fight. Will be the first to go down. Uzi picks up that kill. Sniper ult comes out onto S1mLz to knock him down a little bit lower. They're going to be content with picking up that one pick. As here comes Icon. Good ultimate to knock them backwards. Xiaohu, though, is going to be able to cut him off. Has to force the flash onto the Azir. As Chum the Waters does come out only onto Marta, though. That was interesting from Icon, but still, one pick goes over towards RNG.
It wasn't actually that bad from Icon at all. If they can hold this tower.
It's going to be different, though. Mlxg looking to try and get a flank off against 5 here. The turret will fall down. Xiang goes in, uses the Playful Trickster to get immediately back out of there.
So OMG don't die, and they almost turn it back around and get some damage onto RNG, but they don't get kills. A little bit disjointed in the re-engage. Icon and the rest of his team. Mechanically, Icon did the right thing. He actually got 2 targets back towards the turret, but because they have a Soraka, the Rek'Sai wasn't really there. He was already He was dead, actually. I think it was, yeah, he was out of the fight. The follow-up to an engage from an Azir without a Rek'Sai there, without a Fizz ultimate on time, which was very delayed, is non-existent. And so he needs to work out a way to do this at the start of fights.
Well, Fire's been caught out one more time. He has to use the flash, but it's straight into the ultimate of Mlxg. He's still chasing him down. Teleports now coming in. Gragas has to run away. juejue, he's in the back lines. It's going to be Marta taking a lot of damage as Lupa's now grouping up. They're still going to be able to take down this Rek'Sai, though. To subjugate, just rips so many of those resistances and never move. It's been used onto him now. He can't escape. Icon is still going to be able to find a kill onto Mlxg in the back lines, but this is going to be RNG's fight to take one more time here as they get a double kill onto Marta, and Swain being played by xiaohu, who gets the shutdown onto Icon.
Yeah, Mlxg and Uzi go down, but a lot of work done by RNG. Their carries and their solo laners stepping up and going huge in these fights. 6-0-5 is the Swain. They don't have Baron threat because their jungler and AD carry are dead, however, and so credit where it's due to Icon for target selection, because he finds the Caitlyn at the very least in a trade at the end of these fights. Mlxg's ultimate here was flashed into by 5 so that he wouldn't go back towards the team, but he's still going to end up going really low, and he can't actually heal anybody. Juejue, xiyang, the tanks of the team, don't have damage behind them, so they're just going to die as an end result. And the re-engage here gives 2 kills to Icon, but look at Looper's decision-making. Gets the pillar, says, definitely caught out, and actually looks towards Icon, disregards the Soraka. But Icon does get that trade.
And this is a good trade coming in for Icon, but still, now RNG there, 4,500 gold ahead here. Mlxg looking to try and contest for this red buff. Now RNG, they've turned on the switch. They want to keep fighting. This red buff's getting taken down really low. Mlxg does smite that one away. They're content with taking the buff for themselves. Trundle water comes out. It's Uzi, puts the 90 caliber net down to get away. juejue actually running into the fight. Mata taking a lot of damage, but the subjugate's been put down one more time here. Mlxg picks up that kill. Icon goes in, puts the ultimate down, knocks Uzi into the fight. S1mLz picks up that kill. A major carry has been taken down, but 5, he's really low. Mata's low as well. Icon doing work in the backlines, but S1mLz, he's trying to kite, trying to run, not going to be enough. As there is going to be a double kill onto the Azir. Swain picks up a couple for himself. It's 2-on-2, 3 traded for 2. Icon still looking to continue this fight, but RNG going to be able to get out of there.
And a 7-0-6 Swain is not enough to carry RNG across the line because xiaohu wasn't there in time. OMG actually picking their battle very wisely. And look at where look at his positioning. Like xiaohu's just not near the fight at all. He has to walk around the dragon. Uzi has to respect and is in a position where he can only hit tanks. So it takes an awful long time to take anybody down. And then Icon just hits a legendary ultimate and just sits behind his own ult and zones them off. Big plays once again from the OMG mid laner. And this is what we need to see from that team. Because every single time Icon's played, they look like an entirely different roster.
And on top of that, during that replay, we saw the dragon get taken down by Icon as well. So 2 dragons over towards the OMG lineup.
Damage in that last fight speaks for itself. Mlxg was the highest damage dealer on the team.
Uzi not doing much.
Uzi doing very little as he was only able to hit tanks. Swain did his part, but his part isn't going to solo carry the team, especially when he's not there in time to keep the AD carry and mid laner away from the rest of his team.
It was a good catch though by Icon, able to get into the backlines there, but it's still a 5,000, 6,000 now gold advantage for RNG. And they did get the dragon for it, but it might not be enough. As Uzi, if he's online in this next fight, still going to look devastating for the OMG lineup.
Yeah, the best case scenario is just letting OMG actually come into them and not getting caught out of position in their own jungle, because they weren't set up for that fight, RNG. They did want the red buff. They were starting to get wards around it, but because they were walking out of the red buff area, they were not really prepared for a follow-up fight, as this is the setup now starting to break out.
Teleport actually coming in from the Azir
Complete
there.
bait.
They're just waiting for him to use it. Icon uses it to get in here. Not going to be able to start this dragon. You see juejue now going to take a lot of damage. Here comes Luke. We're going to lock him down. Limit the void still being used. Good flash coming in from Mlxg. Not going to be able to connect though. juejue gets knocked straight back in towards the Trundle. And Looper picks up that kill for himself. That's the jungler gone.
Mlxg is just a god. This whole series has just been Mlxg going off. That's one member dead. It is the dragon-controlled member. Of course, having the smite there. As they can start this up whenever they choose, but if they choose later, they'll get mid lane turrets.
Yeah, have started.
Here we go.
Dragon's Baron, sorry, is already really low. Xiyang looking to try and find an entry point, but he can't. Mlxg is going to be able to take that one down. xiaohu now looking to try and chase him down. He's going to be able to speed himself up. 5 going to be the target of choice. Ultimate does come out from Icon to keep them at bay. 5 still very, very low. He's able to flash out of there and get away.
Yeah, they do get out alive. Remember, Baron's still down. Couple of summoners missing. Mlxg's flash, so they couldn't engage, and xiaohu used his own to try and get onto them, but to no avail. RNG with the driver's seat position now, and with a decent gold lead, are looking like they can possibly take this one out themselves. We'll see how they go after they recall and get those items.
For now, though, it's a 7,000 lead for RNG. You see Caitlyn already online for Uzi. He's picked up his Lord Dominic's regards. They're going to be able to shred through these tanks. On top of the subjugate coming from Looper, the front line from OMG not looking great at the moment.
No, it's not. OMG's front line's actually looking at flanks more than they are being a front line, and that's the problem. Once again, he is so far out.
Pillar comes out one more time. Actually, teleport being used there by xiaohu to get towards this fight. Looks like he cancelled it there. Going to continue pushing in the bottom lane. RNG, 4 members strong up towards the top side of the map, looking to try and continue this push. Icon was trying to find Uzi.
xiaohu no teleport. He actually cancelled it on the top side of the map, so he's looking to threaten bottom, which means that OMG do have a realistic 4v4 threat with their carries still standing. They've got that one tank member, and he can still teleport in if they choose to fight. it also kind of deters RNG from going any further.
You know, RNG, they're taking it one more time. Very slow and very steady. 9,000 gold lead, but they want to make sure they do it when they have a good advantage. Looking towards the mid lane in a turret now as xiaohu continues his split push down to the bottom lane. Okay, that's not exactly what you'd like.
Look, he's been doing well all game. That's the one big hiccup, and that's actually going to be very costly for them.
They lose the turret. Icon actually getting separated here by the pillar chains coming
Oh my
out.
God.
It's going to get locked down. Uzi finds a pick for himself. OMG have lost their star mid laner. This turret's going to get taken down as well. As xiaohu is actually working on the inhibitor turret down in the bottom lane in the meantime. This will be 2 inhibitors for RNG. They could possibly turn towards the Nexus too.
A complete base implosion right now for OMG. No one can stop xiaohu. They've broken mid. They're now looking at top. And just complete unfurling of the game.
And that's 3 inhibitors, being taken down by RNG just in one push off of taking out Icon after
Look at
missing his
xiaohu by
ultimate.
himself, just like hitting this bottom lane turret. They
And
can't stop him.
They're brute forcing this. RNG, they want to win now. They don't have any super minions, but it's enough with the Baron buff. They're already taking down the Nexus turrets, looking towards the Nexus. Yes, xiaohu trying to do what he can, but they can't. OMG resorts into going back in towards their fountain. Xia actually getting caught out. He's going to get taken out. Oh, Xia, sorry, that's going to be Dredge. Gets caught out, take it down. And RNG pick up another clinical win against OMG.
I think it's safe to say a clean-cut victory here for RNG. OMG just looking respondent throughout both games. Better in game 2 than game 1 through their middle lane, but better in game 1 than 2 through their bottom lane. So inconsistency mars this team's performance. And once again, OMG now find themselves 0-6 in the first 2 weeks of the LPL.
You know what? Say what you like about this RNG lineup, but they definitely look like a team that want to go to Worlds and look like a team that wants to win Worlds right now because they're looking fantastic. That was clinical execution from their lineup.
Absolutely. Playing it slow, something that RNG are definitely showing their capabilities of doing. They do love the late game team fight, and they are a late game team fighting team, and they were even drafted reasonably well towards it.